Okay, we are recording and live streaming when you are ready, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, got a minute to go yet, so we will wait. I won't be like that other committee that starts early.
We pulled it right back, Commissioner. We
Oh,
pulled it right
okay,
back.
okay,
Time is relative, right?
yes, I have 9 o'clock. So at this time, I'd like to call to order the Isabel County Board of Commissioners, Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee. We have an agenda that's presented. Is there any changes you'd like to make, Commissioner?
No changes.
Anything, Administrator?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, with that, we will accept the agenda as presented, so. Okay, moving down, we have a call to the public. Would anybody like to make a public comment at this time? I see no one physically in the room. Is there anybody online or on the telephone that would like to comment at this time?
There is not at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, great. So we'll close the call to the public and there will be another opportunity at the end of the meeting to make a comment. So, okay, moving right into the agenda items, we have consider approving the Netsource one quote of the amount of $159,367.50 for technology needs at the Isabella County Sheriff Office and Correctional Facility, and authorize board chairperson to sign the same. And I think you said we have Sheriff Maine online. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Sheriff Michelle is also in the room, just in case.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, I'm in transit today. I'm in Detroit headed back, but not driving, so good there. I can take off if the commissioners are ready with this.
Yep, go ahead, Sheriff.
All right, so and I may let Nicole explain the funding piece. She does a really good job at it. But the funds for this part of the project have been part of the overall project since day one, but they are the county side versus the USDA side. Again, I'm sure Nicole can explain that a little better here in a second. So the 2 or 3 things that will be coming before you in the next few sessions are fairly timely. I put the IT one first because it is timely. Michelle can speak to the lead times that we're a little concerned about getting some of the stuff in to keep the project going on time. But I think we're okay if we get moving on it. So that this price is Netsource one's price to really put all the IT pieces together. Those are the switches and the gateways and the Wi-Fi pucks and really everything that makes the infrastructure for the system work going forward. We do have a line item set aside for this, and we're monitoring how much is in that as we spend that. To date, everything that we were going to need to purchase out of that leaves us roughly around $50,000 to our good. So far we're doing real well with that. Again, the timeliness of this was basically just getting some of that stuff in. I know Clark should asked a couple days ago about the racks. Michelle did think the racks would come in pretty quickly, but they'll need the racks here real soon to get those mounted in place. I will touch a little bit on Netsource one. We did not go out for 3 vendors. Netsource one is not really a sole source vendor, but kind of is for us, especially for the law enforcement side and the court side. They are all vetted for our criminal justice information data. They're all fingerprinted, which is quite a process to get all of that done for a company, so they can touch our stuff that is protected by the FBI and the state and so forth. They're also one of our preferred vendors we've used for some time. Michelle's very familiar with them and interacts with them a lot. And they really know our system and understand there is a component when we start to make some changes here and switching things to the new facility. Our current facility touches about every law enforcement agency and every car in the county. So it really is important to have a vendor that knows exactly what's going on here. Michelle has vetted this quote a couple times and actually brought the price down quite a bit by going over it several times with Netsource one. So I think we are where we need to be with it, and I'm asking to get this moved along to the Board of Commissioners.
I guess I just have one question and it's not, like I said, you like Netsource once. I have no problem. What, do you know what the surrounding counties or how are you, the state being, are they coordinated towards one system or are we have several different systems in the county or the state? I'm not worried about the
Well,
county.
yeah, so Netsource One is just a company that does information technology. Um, they are very valuable to us, to the dispatch center, the courts, and us. And again, Bill's there, she might be able to speak with more to how they interact with us. So it's not necessarily a system. This is just the folks that make everything kind of flow through the right switches, the gateways, and when you see one of those racks and all those lights are blinking, they're kind of the ones that kind of put that together to make sure that traffic is flowing to the right cameras, to the right doors, to the everything that it really runs, every computer, every phone. So it's quite a massive undertaking to make sure all that stuff lines up and works. And that's kind of what they do. That makes sense. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, I was just, like I said, I was just wondering what happens if we had to coordinate with other counties. Is there a, will they kind of,
Speak to it.
Sure.
In this area, a lot of people go through Netsource for their apartments. So our, I know the city, not the tribal so much, but CMU, they all coordinate with Netsource to make all these communications happen. And that's Mark Shop as well. They all coordinate through Mark Shop to get to different things. And Netsource has always been the leader in that, and they are recognized in the state by the state. So they are a good vendor to work with. And because of everything that we do, they do the encryption and all of it. And they look good for us when we go to an audit and say we have Netsource. They are, we get kudos for that. So.
okay, I was just, that's kind of where I was getting at, what part, where they at in the industry? Apparently they're very
They're
high.
used by quite a few different
Okay.
counties and central dispatchers, and they know the technology, they know what's coming down and work with the vendors that are proposed for any criminal justice application. So,
Okay,
Michelle.
I don't have any more questions, so.
And I'd like to go over the budget as kind of Sheriff had alluded. I think
Yes.
it's an important piece to show you guys. Sheriff, please don't try to watch the screen. I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna share the budget for the project. Just to be clear, we have a guaranteed maximum price with Clark Construction as construction manager for this price here, this 43,109. But we know it's a $48 million project, right? So how do we get to 48 million? We get there because this 6 million almost is our portion, right? All of these things, the 2.6 million we spent on architect and design. We've got, we paid for the permits on our side. We paid for third-party testing. We paid for the land purchase. And in this, you see this 562, 548, that's for office furniture, equipment, the mattresses, everything to equip that new facility. It's always been in that $48 million budget. But when we talk about the $562,000 furniture budget, and we wonder where did that come from? So I just wanted to make sure and point this out. Part of the reason we take that out of Clark's contract is so we don't pay an upcharge to Clark for the furniture, and we get to save sales tax too when we buy it direct. So when Sheriff talks about the available budget for furniture, I just wanted to point out, there's been maybe some confusion. It's always been part of the $48 million budget.
I think we got that cleared up last time.
Good. Good.
Thanks, Nicole. And that's true. And that, we have actual furniture that will be coming towards the board here soon, which is the desks and chairs, but it does include inmate mattresses and bags to hang in our property rooms. The televisions, we pulled that out so we can save sales tax. That'll be coming forward here shortly. So there are some good savings there by doing it this way, and we stay within that budget at this point. still about $50,000 to the good. So it's pretty excited about that.
Okay, I'm done. We kind of cleared that up last time, so.
All right, move to bring forward the approval of the Netsource one quote in the amount of $159,367.50 for technology needs at the Isabella County Sheriff's Office and Correction Facility to the Board of Commissioners meeting on Tuesday.
I will support that. Any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The motion has passed and we'll move this forward to the work session. So,
Thank you, Sheriff. Please travel
Thank you,
safe.
Michelle.
thank you.
I appreciate it. Headed back now. I just real quick, we've got going away party today of a 30-year employee, Becky Sides, who's been one of our records clerks for over 30 years. Ends her career here in a couple of weeks, along with one of our deputies who's been here 30 years as well. So we got a couple of big losses coming to our office here in about 2 weeks. So kind of sad, but glad for them.
Okay, drive safe, Sheriff. Thank you. Okay, next up, we have discussion regarding the request to restructure Gold Key Volunteer Program Commissioning on Aging Director Jen Crawford.
Good morning. So I just wanted to have just a discussion with each of the committees today regarding the request I put forward before the board last Tuesday night regarding the request to restructure our Gold Key program. I didn't know if there was, I just wanted to clarify and make sure that we did have a separation between the wage study versus my request here, because this had nothing to do with wage study. All it was me coming to you as a department head saying, this is a need in this program and this is a great solution for that. We have a position now that has completely turned into a supervisor position as opposed to a clerk. And we've had such a high demand and growth in that program. We have over 300 active volunteers. And so that program truly does need a program manager and a program supervisor. Right now, we have a program manager and an office clerk, and it's just evolved so much over the last several years. And so that was my request coming forward. I know there was a lot of talk of timing, and we have the means to accommodate this change, and it will definitely help us continue to serve that growing need that we are experiencing. So I just wonder if there was any questions or if I could have said things differently regarding that request.
Go ahead, Al.
Was in favor of moving it forward on Tuesday and as the restructure. You know, I don't know if I got the ball rolling and on, you know, people thinking or whatnot, just asking about the policy for the restructure, if we have to put it out for a hiring or not. I hope I didn't sink it just by asking that policy. But I guess my only thought would be that it may have gotten confusing because we focused on the person instead of the position need.
Right.
So, but that's my only thought.
Okay. So you're talking eliminating one position, I'm sorry, position and recreating another position.
Correct.
Okay, and so I think this goes back to one of my earlier things, or department spending totally and giving more flexibility within there. How does that at this point, not considering the wage study or anything, how does that affect the budget for salaries changing, even though, because we're changing one and we're going to another one, so.
The difference annually was 13,000 $424.90. That's the annual change if we were to move it from an office clerk to a program supervisor.
So, and this is a hypothetical. So let's say if you had a fixed budget, and what would you do to get that position in there? How would you restructure your budget to get this without going above 13,000? Is there a way you could restructure your,
Like find that 13,000 in other places across the COA budget?
if
Is
you
that
had
what
the
you're
authority,
saying?
or could you do that? Has nothing to do with this. This is one of my pet project is, how would you handle this without having to come to the board? Could you do that if you had more authority to do that, could you do that?
Could we make it happen? I mean,
You know what I'm
I think
understanding?
you're
within a
saying,
set
are there
budget.
things you would prioritize? Do you prioritize this over other things in your?
Do you
budget
see
where
there's a
you
way
move
you
money?
could actually manage that within your budget without having to come to the board every time if you had more authority? As long as you didn't go over your budget.
as long as we didn't go over our budget. I think we could move things around. I think right now with our revenues, our revenues are sitting well enough where we're able to, I mean, I'm able to absorb this right now without having to dip into my fund at all. Like my budget will handle this right now. And it would handle it next year without dipping into fund balance. Like we are able to do it. In my next year's budget, I actually am asking for another part-time position because we've had a 25% increase in the last 2 years of people requesting help from Commission on Aging. And now, I mean, we know that aging population is continuing to grow and it will continue to grow for a while right now. And so that need is not gonna
Wow.
lessen.
Well, I do think like having a new position should definitely come towards the board, but I don't know, I really glad to hear you think we need to have a separate meeting to go into this and, you know, if we can expand the wage scale, give a little more flexibility within there. Instead of having to go through all this chaos every time we have this position up here. So I was just curious on your opinion, not that that's where I'm going on there, but if you, something I've been advocating that we need to get out of the hiring business as a board. Anyways, personal thing, it's been my position for quite a long time, but if we could stay within budget and allow more flexibility within the offices and, you know, maybe you can do without something here, or maybe a position could go to part-time, we could hire somebody at higher wage. Those would be the flexibilities I'd like to see a little more. So. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox.
This is
No.
good to know the direction you're thinking.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you. I appreciate you hearing me out.
Instead, sorry, I'm gonna stay on that for a second. Is that restructuring something that can come back this next Tuesday? If commissioners don't care.
I think it's gotta go, doesn't it have to be moved through the other committee, or is there, any committee, or how's?
Any committee could choose to bring something forward to full board if they chose to move it. Right now, this morning, it is a discussion on each of the 3 committees to offer clarity, if there were any questions surrounding Tuesday, but certainly if the commissioners feel strongly, they could move.
Well, I'd hate to supersede, but I think that's human resources, and of course, Jim's not here either, so
That is true.
I don't wanna step on toes. Out.
He will,
We're being
hopefully he'll.
recorded now.
He wasn't, Commissioner Moreno wasn't on the meeting, but that doesn't mean he didn't watch it.
He didn't watch
You know,
it.
on YouTube certainly, so, I would definitely bring him up to speed.
I think that's his committee, so.
Mhm.
So, I don't have any more discussion on that.
So,
Announcements. I don't have any announcements at this time. I've already brought up with the grants at the last meeting, so I was real happy to get those. So I haven't heard any more on the $70,000 grant, but hopefully that'll come, so. And this time, if you don't have any more, Commissioner, I'll open the call to the public. I see no one in here. Is there anybody online that would like to comment?
Number of people have joined us, but I don't see any hands raised at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, at that time, I will close the call to the public and I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner.